So, today's topic that we're going to discuss, obviously, as we spoke about before, there will be episodes without guests. Today, we're going to talk about freedom and what freedom is. A lot of people will consider freedom to just be being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. Oh, well, I can go on holiday when I want to. I can take drugs and smoke and drink and do whatever I want, essentially. But where do we draw the line? And is that really freedom? How can you actually be free and do all of those things? Travel abroad, go to the petrol station and get some cigarettes if others aren't serving that need. You need pilots, you need staff members, you need taxi drivers. And if you want to be free in that sense, then others can't be free. People then, maybe if we look at it in a slightly different way, want to be free of responsibility. Oh, I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to clean my car or whatever it may be. But if you're going to have anything worthwhile, you do need to have responsibility. Responsibility to take care of yourself, to feed yourself, to go to work, to look after your children or your pet. If you want the benefit of actually owning a dog, for example, you will not have freedom outside of their need. We are always slaves to something. Coming back to what we said near the start, I feel that I'm free because I can drink or take drugs. But is that really freedom? Is the man addicted to drugs really any more free than those who aren't allowed? Think about that. If you're not free in your actions on the basis that you are addicted and you need to do certain things, then you don't have freedom. You may even think that, oh, I don't want to be told by police what to do. But if your house was robbed, you would want protection and you would want to know who the culprit was. So is there a balance between rules and freedom? Take ourselves as an example. If we do what we want, we probably won't have freedom in the long term. We need to actually have rules that we set ourselves and be disciplined in order to provide us with longer term freedom. The problem is that yes, we all have vices, but nowadays what's happening is people are using vices as their self-image, whether they are, a cannabis smoker, a homosexual, a porn addict, whatever it may be. They are using that as a self-image, which actually makes them more inclined to do those things. Again, is that freedom? Do we actually need less freedom then to gain more freedom? Again, we used the example earlier of driving with no traffic lights. That would be mayhem, that would be carnage. Freedom of choice then is within a remit, within a specific remit. If you go into a shop, you have the freedom of choice amongst what is there. You have the freedom of choice of where you live to an extent, but you are dictated by certain things. What language you speak, what time the shop was open till in the previous example. Freedom of speech. Do we really even have freedom of speech? We should be able to say what we want, but actually society dictates that we can't in a roundabout way. You can't just go into work and start saying X, Y, and Z. Because actually, it's the wrong thing to do, and society tells you that. We do actually have a lot more freedom than we think, and yes, there are certain rules that have come about that maybe take that a step too far, but I'm talking about the parameters of society. There are people do look at you funny if you say certain things, and that's not that you didn't have the freedom to speak, because you did. You said what you wanted to, but you were shown by others that is not deemed to be correct. So can we be free with our thoughts then, maybe? Possibly, but possibly not. Because our ideas, where do these come from? Do we create them? Do we have the freedom to choose what to learn? Or are our interests and ideas and talents given to us and we don't choose them? We have the freedom to use what we have been given. I know for myself, for example, I have certain ideas and I'm inclined to be interested in certain things. I didn't choose that, but I will then move into that direction because of those impulses that I have in some respect. So can we ever be free of impulses, good, bad, or indifferent? Can we ever be free of this system? You know, you might say, well, I'll go and live on a farm, but how are you going to buy the farm? Where's that going to come from in terms of money? How are you going to protect the farm? How are you going to do business and make money as a farm? You can't just be self-sufficient because there are certain things you will need out of the remit of that farm itself. You're not free of the weather. So, I mean, we've been through a whole host of things there, and actually, we realise that we can never be free. And actually, by trying to be free prematurely, we actually give up longer term freedom. So, have a think about ways that maybe you feel like you want to be free, but actually realise that you are not free, and make the changes to realise that freedom does not exist in the way that you maybe think it does. But how can you still have a pretty good life?